Hello horse friends, and welcome back to the Imperfect Equestrian. Today we're going to be having another go at our archery, so let's go and practice.
You look so beautiful, and I'm so lucky to be yours. And you're taking me high. Ain't nobody like you. I'm not coming down. Ain't nobody like you. I could go 1,000 miles as long as I'm with you. Yeah, you're taking me high. Ain't nobody like you.
If you remember, last year I attended an archery camp, and there's going to be another archery camp this year, and hopefully, all going well, I'll be attending with Comanchie for a change, so he'll be joining me. Now, Comanchie's not done archery for quite a while now, so I need to do some little checks before we go to check that he's not going to be scared by the situation, the loud noises of the arrows and things like that. So we've come out here today to take the first step. What I've got is, you can see I've got a toy archery set. You can probably just about see the target behind us. It's a plastic board, and this is not a horseback archery bow. It's just a toy one from the shop, and the arrows don't have any points at the end. You can see they've just got suckers on, so there's no harm if this goes anywhere it shouldn't. It's going to make a very similar kind of noise and have a similar kind of effect. So to start with, what I'm going to be doing is standing on the ground and shooting at the target to make a big banging sound, and just seeing how he copes with the idea of that. Whilst we're on the floor as well, we can also rub him with some of the bows and arrows to see how he gets on with that, so ready in preparation for when we ride. So let's take the first step. I think probably the best first step is to actually make sure he's not afraid of the equipment that I'll be using near him. So I have the bow here. I'm just going to rub him gently with it in a friendly way. You can see he's quite sleepy today. I've got him on a nice long loose lead rope, but I do have it attached just in case he becomes worried about anything, so that I can correct the situation. So I'm just going to rub him all over with the bow and the string, just to check that nothing about the actual bow is scary for him. I'll just check on the other side. Good boy. Doing very well. Good boy. There we are. Now I can do the same with the arrow. Obviously the arrow will never be shot at him, but it will go flying around near him. So he needs to be quite familiar with these as well. So again, showing him there's nothing scary about the arrows. And again, we can just cover the other side a little bit. There we are. Good boy. Now, if you're fortunate enough to have a toy bow like this one, which is designed for leisurely sport shooting in your garden, then you can do one extra move which you can't do with a real bow, because it's actually not very good for the bow at all. So what I can do is I can kind of twang the string. Now you should never do this with a real bow, but seeing as this is a toy one, it's okay to do. So I'm just going to make a bit of a sound and see how he reacts to it. Because that's a very similar sound that he's going to get when I shoot an arrow from either near him or on top of him. So he's done really well with all those. I think he can remember all the equipment. So I'm going to start shooting at the target now and see how he reacts when the sound is made where the arrow hits the target. Fingers crossed he remembers that as well. So I believe Comanchie is going to do quite well at this. I'm hoping so. So for now, I'm just going to have the rope draped over my arm so I can get it if I need to. But if you weren't sure if your horse is going to do okay, you might want somebody to hold your horse for this step, or even to shoot the arrow for you whilst you hold your horse. Now I'm just going to stand next to him. Oh, I've got one. And shoot. I've got a bucket with a little bit of water in here because the suckers don't stick very well, and I might not get the target the first time, but we'll see, and hopefully I'll get at least some of them on there or near there to make the sound. Good boy, Comanchie. I'll just reassure him. Good boy. Well, I missed the target. It went underneath, but that's okay. We take a look at how he reacted. He didn't really move much, so give it another go. Good boy, Comanchie. Good boy. Just reassure him again. Right, a little bit more reaction that time. That's okay, though. Obviously, you're not normally going to be shooting from quite near the face, but it's good for him to see what's going on. 2 more arrows. Good boy. So he's anticipating a little bit. So again, I'm going to take out the arrow and give him a rub and remind him that none of this is going to hurt him. Good boy. Good boy. Just reassure him. Good boy. There we are. Some scratches for him. Good lad. Okay. Again, reload my arrow. And these do not load the same way as a normal bow and arrow either, but it doesn't matter for the experience for the horse. So I'm going to pull back again. Wait for him to pay attention. Still a little reaction, but it was a little bit less this time. Good boy. Now, if he's finding this too difficult, what I could do is just back him away a little bit more. Back, back. Good boy. Back, back. So he's a little bit further away from the experience. So let's just try one more. Come back. Good boy. Not too far away. Want him a little further forward than that. Good boy. Stand there. Good boy. Okay, let's give it a go. Still a little bit of a reaction, but he doesn't seem overly concerned. So I'm not too worried about this reaction at the moment. He's curious, having a look where it's all gone. Doing really well. So we're going to do a few more rounds of that and see how he goes. So I've retrieved my arrows and he's doing well enough that I feel I can ground tie him, and we'll carry on with the exposure to the arrow shooting. Okay, good boy. So making sure he's settled before we fire the arrow. Don't want him to be reactive. Good boy, yeah. Let him have a look at it again. Good boy. I've not got any food, darling. Good boy. Okay. Good boy. Allow his curiosity when he wants it. Good boy. Make sure he's aware before I fire. Good boy. And lots of praise after. Well done, darling. Good boy. Yes, very good. Good boy. Praise him for coming forward. Good boy. So it seems to be the loading of the arrow at the moment that he's reacting to. Come back. So just keep asking him to stay there. Stay with me. Let him explore the bow and the arrow. This is where it could be very excellent for someone to be helping you though, because you can keep more of an eye on their reaction. Comanchie, good boy. Good boy. Good boy. There we are. Good boy, Comanchie. So what I'm going to do is just draw the arrow and push it back. Draw the arrow and push it back. So I'm just doing the drawing and going to praise him. Good boy. So I'm drawing the arrow without releasing it, so he's not just reacting to that part of the process. Good boy. I might even take it out, rub him with it again. So he's really understanding. Come back, good boy. Draw and push back. Draw and push back. So I'm not releasing it because I want him to understand that none of this part of the process means anything to him at all. If he wants to have a reaction to it going bang a bit, that's fine and acceptable. But he should not be reacting to me just pulling it by him and loading up. Good boy. Good boy. So this is good. This is why we practice before going off on camp, because I want him to be really nice and relaxed and enjoy our time there if we go. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, so that was a better reaction. He did still react a little when I released, but for the rest of the process that he had been reacting to just a minute ago, he was much calmer. Okay, I have my arrows back again, and I'm going to try something a tiny bit different this time. I'm still going to load up and do a couple of pulls and resets, but what I'm planning this time is I've got a little stash of treats hidden behind my water bucket down here. Good boy. Good boy. Reward when he's interested. Good lad. And what I'm hoping is that if I release, I give him a treat after, and he might start thinking of it as a more positive experience. So I'm going to pull back this time and release. Okay, now I'll give him a treat. Of course, there's a risk that I might be reinforcing the reaction, but we might as well try and find out. Doesn't always work that way. So, good boy. I think all he's thinking is, where's your treat stash? Stand, pull and relax, pull and release. And give him a treat. Good boy. So loading the bow is not bothering him anymore. Boy. Pulling it's not really an issue. It's just that release moment. Much better. Did you see how that changed? Good boy. Really good, Comanchie. Really good. Got to fly. Okay. Stay here. So pull. Wait, stay here. So you're looking for my treat stash now. He says, I keep seeing you going down there and getting treats. Good. Good boy. There we go. Well done. So I did feel that did help to make an improvement. Really good boy. So I think we're probably going to leave it at that, as it's a good first step back into the archery again. Well, we'll probably have another session where I'll get on him and I'll have somebody lead me and I shall fire from on top of him, and we'll see how he reacts to that. Obviously, I want him nice and prepared before we go, so it's a fun experience for both of us. So we're on phase 2 of the archery practice. I've still got my toy bow and arrow to practice with, so we're good for safety. My husband is here. He's going to hold Comanchie just for an extra safety precaution for now. And the first step's very similar to the first step on the ground. I'm just going to take the bow and arrow and contact with him, rubbing around, see if he's comfortable with them whilst I'm on his back. So just rub around everywhere, checking he's still okay with them. Doing the arrow first. Good boy. And then I can do with the bow also. Good boy. He's having a nice deep breath, so that's a good sign. He's relaxing. Good boy. Touch him everywhere with it. Now again, because I have the toy bow, I have the advantage if I can make the sound without harming the bow. Do not do that if it's a real bow. So let's make a little bit of a twang. You hold him nicely, Pete. So he's a little alert, but we're fine. Good boy. Good boy. So now see, I'm in a totally different position on his back now. He can see a lot of action going on either side of his face from on top of him. So it's going to be a little bit more unsettling than from the floor. So to start with, I'm just going to load the arrow, pop it in, and I'm not confusing things too much. Woo, good boy. At the moment, I've just got the one arrow to deal with, and I'm just going to again pull and relax. See, he's reacting to that, so we need to deal with that. Good boy, good boy, good boy. Over we go. Take him back where he was. Oh, good boy. Good boy. So we'll try that again. This is why we're practicing. So again, good boy. I'm going to rub him with it again. Good lad. Good boy. Can you come up and reassure him a bit, Pete, please? Good boy. You got him? I'm going to pull and release again. So just tell him he's a good boy, Pete was. Pull and relax. Good boy. A little bit more reassurance for him, and he's doing a lot better. Pull and relax. Good boy. Was that a reaction to the bow? Yeah, okay. So he's very reactive on top, so I'm not going to fire it at this moment in time. Good boy. Good boy. Walking forward a little bit again, getting back in position. Good boy. And if anything, I'm going to take it back a step, unload it, and rub him with the arrow and bow again. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Right, so reload. Good boy. Just reassure him. Good boy. And unload. So it's the loading part that he's having an issue with at the moment. So this is what we're going to repeat. Load. Good boy. Steady. Good boy. And unload. Rub him with the bow and arrow. Good boy. Try again. Load it again. Good boy. Steady him. Good lad. Good boy. And unload. Good boy. Good boy. Again, I'm going to load. Good boy. That's a nice release. Very good boy, Comanchie. So fully load it now. Stretch it, relax it, and unload. Good boy, Comanchie. He just needs quite a bit of repetition in this section. Good boy. Turn him again so we can see a bit better. Good boy. Good boy. Woo. Good lad. Pop the arrow in. Pull it. Relax. Praise him. Good boy. Remove the arrow. Good boy. My husband's reassuring him as well, so this is all good for him. Really good boy. And he's getting a little bit less reactive now to it going in and out. Good boy. Just load it. Stretch it. Relax it. Stretch it. Relax it. Going to move it around a little bit, and whilst it's loaded, I'm going to stroke him with the bow and the arrow. Good boy. It's another release there. Good boy. Lots and lots of repetition. Sorry if this is the boring bit, but it's really important that I don't move past a phase until he's feeling a lot more comfortable with it. And normally, for shooting your arrows, you'd be in a standing position, but I am sitting at the moment for a more secure seat whilst he's not sure how he feels about it. Very good. He's having some lovely releases now. Lots of licking and chewing going on. He's feeling quite a bit better. So I'm just going to give him a little break for a moment, because I think we're probably ready to move on to the next step, which will be releasing the arrow, and see how he deals with that. Again, for now, I'm going to stay seated, and I'm going to ask my husband to hold him reasonably shortish, because I'm not able to use the reins at all when I'm seated with the bow and arrow, unfortunately. So let's get comfy. Good boy. Try a few more pulls and relaxing. Good boy. Keeping an eye on how he feels. Wait till his head lowers again. Good boy. Do you have him reasonably short, Pete? Because I'm going to release. Okay? Release. Very good. Very good. No real reaction there at all. Really good. I think he was just worrying a lot about nothing really, but he had to figure that out for himself. So my husband's been and fetched me a different arrow now. So again, repeat. Going to do some loading and unloading. And now Comanchie knows that it actually can be fired. He may react differently again. So we've loaded, stretch, release, stretch, release. And he seems to be coping a little bit better. Good boy. I really would love to see him relax a little bit more. He looks fairly relaxed, but he's a little bit shut away. So I'm just going to do some stretching and releasing, and I might unload the arrow a couple of times, rub in with it. Good boy. Good boy. Reload the arrow. A little bit of a sigh, so that was a bit better. So he's on a little bit of adrenaline at the minute, and the little head jerks are him trying to come off the adrenaline. He's locking himself away. He's a little bit introverted. So he is worried about this, but he needs to figure out for himself that this is not going to harm him at all, and there's nothing to be scared about. So I'm just waiting for him to give some sort of release. Good boy. Head's gone down. I don't know if you can hear, but he's sighing out a little bit. Good boy. I'm looking at how he's reacting now. I'd love to see him lick and chew a little bit. Good boy. Shifting his weight. Nothing too major. I think he's just getting comfortable. Good boy. Lots of stretches and releases. Unloading. Rubbing with the arrow again. Good boy. Nice big blowout there. Has it been followed by some licks and chews? Yes, that's wonderful. So I think we're now again in a much better spot to actually release the arrow. So let's give that a go again. He may not look very active. We're not dashing off across the field with reaction to what's going on, but he's finding this quite a lot in his head, and he's having a very internal, stressful reaction. So this is him calming down and understanding that I'm not going to harm him. So Pete, I'm going to release the bow. Oh, I should just wait for a second. Another lovely calm reaction. Do you have another bow for me, darling? Thank you. Arrow, sorry. Again, stroking with the arrow. These are all slightly different colours. He may pick up on that a bit. So this time, darling, if you just allow him to have a little bit longer lead rope, that's it. And just stay quite close though. Get ready to react if you need to. And we'll see if he can cope a little bit more on his own as I'm pulling and releasing. Good boy. Good boy. So his eyes at the moment are a bit starey. They're just starting to blink a little bit. And that's him just starting to relax a little bit with it, a bit quicker. He's thinking about what's going on. Good boy. But that slow blink is very indicative of the fact that he's locking himself in his own mind. Good boy. And again, those short head jerks where he's trying to release his own adrenaline and come back into the room again. He doesn't want to be locked away and worried about things. Unload the arrow. Perhaps give him a little stroke again. Good boy. Good boy. Little bit of a sigh there. Good boy. Good boy. More blinking, more looking around. Oh, he wants to interact a little bit more. Good boy. That's good. In goes the arrow. So important to really pay attention to your horse and not just go past these phases. It's when you don't pay attention to where they're worried about that you're going to get problems. Good boy. He's doing little sighs again. He might do a snort out in a minute. He's kind of sounds like he's heading towards that a little bit. I can feel him breathing in. There we go. Good boy. Good boy. Little itch on his leg as well. That's good to release adrenaline. So lick and chew. I'm going to try and release the arrow again. Really good boy. So now he's feeling a little bit more relaxed with me shooting from his back. I'm going to ask my husband to lead him round. I shall load the arrow ready. And I'm going to ask him to lead him round, and we'll walk past the target and I will fire at the target. And we'll see how he copes with that next step. If you could lead me, please, Pete. Thank you. Welcome. Again, because I'm using both hands for shooting, I'm asking my husband to be an assistant for me so that I'm feeling in a safer position if Comanchie does dart forwards. Again, I'm going to remain seated for now. Walk on. I'm pulling the arrow, looking at the target, and as we go past, release. There we are. So he did quite well that time. So I might try and stand a little bit. Walk on. Ooh, no, I won't. I'll let go. Another arrow, please. Good boy. I think we probably need to walk around with this a minute, don't we? Okay, good boy. I don't know, let's do some pulls and releases just on the spot here. Good boy. Okay, go and walk him around and I'll do some pulls and releases. So Comanchie was getting a little bit reactive. So we're just walking around, just doing some pulls and relaxes to relax him again. Good boy. So now I'm practicing just standing with the bow and arrow. Good boy. Good boy. And now we're standing and doing some pulls and releases or relaxes. He's relaxing a bit more. So I'm going to pull, aim at the target, release. Good boy. So he did get a little bit reactive whilst we were riding, a little bit more unsure about things. Fortunately, I had my husband here to help me lead him so he could control him whilst I concentrated on getting him used to it. That was quite a lot for Comanchie mentally today. I think you'll agree that he found it a bit more difficult than you would necessarily think for a horse who's done this before. But that's what happens when it's been a long time sometimes. It's always really important to revisit things and be prepared to take things step by step if needed. So I think he's done really well. I don't really want to push him any further today. Obviously, further down the line, what we'll be looking at is trotting and also doing it without a lead person. But I don't feel he's ready for that today. It's been quite a lot for him to take in. So we're going to leave it at that for now. And we might do a little bit more practice in the week before the camp. We'll have to see how it goes. So I'll see you again next time. Bye.